seeing as we're talking about in character, so you'd spend a lot of time at Last Chance and just kind of like work your way out a little bit, kind of venture out a little further every day, visiting this and that. Is there any place that Arthur would like um, to visit, or is there any research that he wants to do? Anything that he has to specific? Anything that he's looking for that we maybe haven't explored yet?
Anything specific? Not necessarily. I'm mostly just trying to find. Mostly what I'm looking for are people who are either influential or otherwise important. People who you definitely want to have friends, basically,
Okay.
for a variety of reasons. Whether or not they have soft power or hard power works.
Okay. Well, you find that you have already a little. You don't have connections with these people specifically, like Fatty McComb, the dealer of the Last Chance. He has a little sphere of soft power in that neighborhood. People come to him. You've noticed when they have a problem. People want to make sure that he likes them. You're not really sure what the basis is. What his, maybe it's financial. He maybe holds a little sway financially. Maybe he knows things about people, their bad habits, things that they do that they don't want other people beyond the Last Chance to be overly familiar with. But people tend to want, and maybe it's just his force of personality. He does have a big personality. People tend to want to make him happy. Like they don't want to get on his bad side. They're always they're happy when he's points them out and says, "Hey, thanks for coming in." That kind of stuff. You can tell that he's got a soft sphere of influence there. As far as hard influence goes, you learn that Lord Gennaro or Lord Danao, has quite a bit of influence in the city. And a lot of that is based on his holdings. In addition to owning several pawn shoppy kind of money lending sort of stores that are fairly influential in the city. He's got one in the Tenderloin, one in the Casters, one in the down by the Street of the Gods. He has a fair amount of hard influence. His decisions, people are want to do business with him. He has a fairly large sphere of influence, and the fact that you're well known to him, it could probably serve you extremely well if you needed an introduction or some sort of a person to perhaps broker or finance a deal, something like that. He'd be the guy to go to. The other person I'll get into in a moment. Asami,
Yeah.
your time at the Last Chance over the last several weeks. It's gone. You've got the year is turned over. It's gone from the. You've gone past the first of the year. There was a big night at the Last Chance. It was busy. You probably made a fair amount of money.
That works. I imagine a good portion of it went back to cover the room cost, huh?
The room costs aren't that much. I mean, it's only I think 2 gold brooks a month is what we agreed on, something like that. So if you wanted to bank that or spend it or be creative and do something else with it, that's completely yours.
I'll
The
bank it for now, just because I don't really know off the top of my head what I would spend it on at the moment.
Okay. We'll leave the little blurb that I had about the things that made you anxious at the last chance over the last couple of days. We'll leave that for the same thing that I wanted to mention with Arthur, the third person who had influence that he had an acquaintance with. So we'll leave that. It's connected. So we have Zed. Zed has been doing a little legwork. So he's also having a tough time getting to sleep. Or when he's asleep, he's having a tough time getting a restful sleep. And you know that also Luna had difficulty at that as well. So it might have something to do with the things you've seen, the traumas that you've experienced. You've seen some pretty horrific things. Some vile rites. You've seen what you thought was your friend change form right in front of your eyes into some kind of creature that you later learned there was another one of those creatures, and it seemed to be feasting on the drug-induced dreams of the homeless population of the city of Lankhmar on the Street of the Gods. It's a lot to take in. But you managed to also do what you set out to do, and that was get a line on Maria. And some nights you join forces with Rakarnash. A lot of times he likes to work alone. He's making inquiries. He does things in a different manner than you. You're more of a gregarious sort. He's more of an intimidator. He gets his own way through threats of force, threats of violence. He's not an unreasonable man, though. And you've never seen him specifically hurt anybody. So, you know that he does get results, though. And between the two of you with Bakai, you've kind of narrowed down her hunting ground to the northern portion of the river district. If you guys have your map out and go to the
Lankhmar?
Yeah, the main map of Lankhmar. If you don't have a copy, I'll share it with you. I'll just send it out right now just in case. If you go right to the very end, so it'd be the west side of the Street of the Gods, I'll draw a big square. And obviously it's not moving very well. Oh, Sky disconnected.
Yes, something got messed up. I opened up the map and it got frozen onto my screen. Rejoin.
All right, let's try and draw that in a more precise manner. There we go. Somewhere in this area here, you get the end of the Street of the Gods. You've all been to the Temple of Arth, which is on the north side of the street. It's that big kind of spaceshipy looking building. Then you've got the squat, low, almost classical, just like a black basalt, the Temple of the Gods of Lankhmar on the south portion of the street, at the very, very head of the Street of the Gods. So somewhere around that area, then you've got a bunch of homes of extremely wealthy grain merchants. One of them in particular, probably the wealthiest grain merchant in the city of Lankhmar. And as far as the absolute wealthiest people in Lankhmar, it's the emperor or the overlord, and then the nobility, and then below that it'd probably be the grain merchants. And one of the largest homes in Lankhmar that isn't a noble estate is the home of Hisvin. He's probably the wealthiest of the grain merchants. But there's several other grain merchants as well. There's Hester, and another one of the grain merchants had to sell his home fairly recently, you've learned, and it was bought out by Muulsh, the moneylender, who's a rival to Lord Danal. You've got all the grain silos where all the grain from, or a lot of the grain from the grain fields is stored. All in that area. You've got a few kind of neighborhood areas too. You've got that long kind of colored in buildings. Let's see here. Get rid of this picture. And we'll go to like arrows. This area here, it's not one building, that area. It's almost like a small neighborhood where there's a large building in the middle, and it's the first floor is various businesses and stuff like that. It's almost like a plaza, and then on top, the second floor is a tavern by the name of the Waterman's Berth, and then the Waterman's Hostel, which is on top of that, where a lot of visiting sailors stay. And then all around that, there's a bunch of homes and businesses and shops and stuff like that, and that encompasses that whole big rectangle there. And the same thing goes for this area here. That's almost like a giant outdoor market with a lot of permanent buildings and stuff like that. Some of them even get up to like 2 or 3 stories in height. There's an old abandoned temple right here. Has some creepy architecture. There's no specific god tied to it. There's a whole bunch of flying buttresses up top on the second floor. The main building itself, it's almost like a large rectangle. Probably about the size of maybe 150 feet, 120 feet on one side, and probably about 70 feet on the other. And it goes up about 30 feet to the second floor, and the second floor is where the buttresses are. And then you can see windows on the second floor, but there's no windows on the first floor. And there's a whole bunch of gargoyle-like carvings. A lot of them are like winged maidens. You see a lot of people's. The carvings are of a person standing holding a bunch of birds in her hand and stuff like that, and that's all the way around the building. And you see there's at least 5 or 6 different big carvings of all these, and then beyond that, there's the second floor. You can kind of see some old boarded up windows, and then there's a 3 or 4 story tower. The temple has no name, and you do learn that you can't enter that temple it's a death sentence to enter the temple. It's an old forbidden temple, perhaps because it was placed further up the Street of the Gods than the actual gods of Lankhmar. But you can't find any really specific things on it, other than there's a couple other temples like that in the city that it's forbidden to enter on pain of death. There's a lot of activity in the docks, and you've learned that over the last several weeks, some of the homeless population has been disappearing in this area specifically. You've also described Maria, and you haven't seen her specifically yourself, But there's people who've confirmed that they've seen her. They don't know her. But there's been a lady that matches that description. That sometimes see.
Swimming only at night?
Yes, almost exclusively at night. Aevus, your venture, maybe an item of interest for you. The next day after the church of Tsathoggua was, we'll call it, shut down, a lot of the drug people, the drug users, the supplicants of the temple that are there basically for their fix, they're gathering in the morning, looking for their handout. You find that if you direct them to the main temple of the goddess, that you can maybe help straighten out some of them. We also think that using this location is the location that they already know. It's the location they're already comfortable with. You could probably do some good work with people who show up here, if you had the resources to do that. At some point during the day, while you're, maybe talking to people or whatever, trying to help them out, you're approached by, you see the owner of the temple, or the landlord of the church. He comes by to make his collection, and there's nobody here. It's not open, but there's a bunch of people gathered outside. Do you approach him, or?
Yeah, she'll approach him.
Okay, so he's kind of quizzically looking. He's looking around. He's looking at all the people that are gathered there, and he sees you, who obviously stand out amongst them. Not because of your appearance or anything like that, but because you seem like you're not there to get high. Mm-hmm. You're, attempting to help them. You're clean. You're you've got your wits about you. And he says, any idea what happened to this lot? You been here all day?
Since last night.
They moved out in the middle of the night?
Anybody here but them?
They move out in the middle of the night, did they?
Seems so.
Well, let's have a look. So he gets out a ring of keys. Your heart might go into your chest or into your throat a little bit, but he opens the door and he looks in. And the work that Rackernash's men did, well, not exemplary. There's still some minor signs of what occurred, but the main painting of the sleeping god it's been taken down. You think that he used that to roll the bodies up in.
I don't question. We don't question it. We don't talk about it.
All the most of the blood stains are gone. There's some older ones that might have been there before. It looks like all the personal effects that they might have had stashed away in certain parts was cleaned out. So it's pretty much back to bare. There's no accoutrement of the former tenants that you're able to see. So you're kind of a little bit, and the landlord goes inside and he's rummaging around and stuff like that, and he's kind of cursing. Apparently, they still owe for 2 weeks.
So follow him in unless he objects.
No, not at all. He says, "Oh, you mind getting the door? I don't want that lot following me in."
She closes it.
You weren't. I don't recognize you from the other lot that was here. You weren't with them?
Those outside seeking sustenance?
No. Those poor bastards. No, the lot here with the fat fellow with the froggy eyes. Whatever they called him, I'm not sure.
That fellow with froggy eyes. Taking notes. No idea who that is.
So, what brings you around? You just helping these poor bastards out?
Well, just trying to find a new home, Continue to spread the word of mine.
Ah, I see. You got your own racket going, huh?
Probably not the same as the others did before.
Well, it's good to hear some bloody dark rumors from what I heard, but it's neither here nor there. Have you had a look around? Is this something that might suit your needs?
May I take a look around?
Absolutely. Actually, let me give you the dime too, and we'll make sure whatever those folk left behind is all cleaned up for you. If it's something that you're looking at. So he takes you to the. Let's see here. Here's the map, and this is the first floor. There's two sets of. Yeah, there's two sets of.
Familiar. I've seen this before.
There's two sets of stairs, and there is a second floor, but the second floor is
there was a pit.
Divided. At the front, there's a big room that's 20 by 25 that he lets out separately, not as a temple. The back, the kind of like kitchen-y area has a set of stairs that goes upstairs to a second floor where a lot of those priests were sleeping, and it's mostly a large room. It's this area here that's attached.
Excuse me.
Let's see here. Once I put the thing on here, there we go. Can't seem to move it. Like this area here is upstairs that goes along with the first floor. It's its own. There's two separate units basically, and
I was trying to stifle hiccups and a real loud one.
So he says, okay, well, this front part here is where that lot did all their stuff. They left their draperies, but yeah, well, you're welcome to them if you decide to take the place. That color purple's kind of garish, but well, to each their own. And he kind of pulls the curtain aside and goes into like the kitchen area. And he says, it looks like they had cleaned up pretty good before they left. It doesn't look like there's anything really left behind in here. And the same goes for upstairs. All their, I think Arthur got a good look at stuff upstairs during the big battle. And it was all like bedrolls and just like food scraps and maybe
Nothing worth taking.
No, but then there was also like buckets of waste and stuff like that too that hadn't been properly dumped out and stuff. So there was, but it's just down to bare wood.
Well, they did clean pretty good. I'm assuming several people were in here. Based on how large the room is, you could probably fit several.
Yeah, I think there was a half dozen or so. I don't know if they were all living here at the time, but they did pay on time until last week. They Then I gave him I gave him a pass, which I shouldn't have. It'll teach me a lesson. So if you're interested, it's 1 gold roke a week. I'll need the first and last up front, and you'll probably, I don't know if you're new to the business. Have you ever held property on the Street of the Gods before?
No.
Have you ever?
Only
Just?
my second day in the city.
I see. Well, don't spread that around. People will take advantage of you.
I'll do my best to keep it to myself.
You'll have to deal with Poog. He's the guy to make sure that nothing goes wrong. If you know what I'm saying, he'll once you've set up, he'll no doubt send a couple guys around to. As far as I know, I mean, this is the only property I own on the Street of the Gods. I own a couple in the Tenderloin and in the Cash District. But as far as I know, his rates are fairly reasonable, and you might want to look into just making his men happy. I believe he was charging that other lot 5 silver smerducks per week. So it's half again of what I'm charging you, but to not have any fires or constant break-ins, rocks thrown through windows, that sort of thing. Although that's kind of my responsibility as well. So I'll tell you what. You take care of Pogue's men. If it's more than 5 silver smerducks, but less than a gold roke, we'll knock it off my end. All right.
All right.
What's your name?
Aevus, Evenpeak.
Aevus. I'm Dev. If you ever need me, I can be found. Got a place just off of Carter Street. Down
Carter?
down near the Silver Eel. You know where that is?
No, but I need to know. I need to take a walk, it looks like.
Yeah, I'll be happy to escort you, young lady, if you wish. I could show you. He's probably about 45, maybe 50. He's got the classic comb over.
Oh, it's funny. He's calling her young lady.
He's got the classic comb over from the 70s. And when the wind picks up a little bit, it kind of goes up to the side. He's got a bit of got some mutton chops happening, but they're real sparse. He looks fairly weathered for his age, but he seems fairly on top of things.
She'll agree to the tour because she needs to figure it out.
So you've never been? Where have you been around the city over the last couple days? Have you been anywhere other than? I think you might have went with everybody down Wall Street, down to Silas Ledbetter's.
Yeah.
Which is
that's as far as she's been. And
yeah, so you're kind of looking at like a couple city blocks.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so he gives you the tour down the Carter Street. You get to the from where you are on the Street of the Gods. Down Carter Street, past the Street of Thinkers, you come to on the left-hand side. You see Last Chance Gaming House. You seem to remember Asami mentioning that. Mm-hmm. You see the alleyway that maybe Zed retired to. His apartment is up in this area here. Mm-hmm. So if you're on the Carter Street from the Street of the Gods, Zed kind of lives around in here. And Asami lives right there. This guy, his place is right here.
So not too far.
Not too far. He's got a little office. It's right across from an establishment called the Keyhole. Looks like a locksmith of some sort.
Okay.
All right. So I haven't looked at your character. You have cash on your character sheet?
I do.
Excellent. All right. Well, he charges you 2 gold rilks right up front, and then he gives you the keys.
Yep. I took that off.
All right. Excellent. So every week, 1 gold rilk, and then we'll get into the whole extortionist business once they learn that you've got a new temple there and it's a new bunch of people.
How do I bring the money in?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I think... Oh, Luna's here.
I've been here a while.
All right, excellent. Luna, what has Luna been up to in the last month? Never mind Luna. What's Naz been up to in the last 6 weeks or so? A lot of vacations? Vacations?
Yeah, I went to San Diego and rented a place on the beach.
Sweet.
And the bed we stayed in was covered in shit and pee.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Classic.
was. So never a dull moment on the trip. But yeah,
Was it like an Airbnb or was it a hotel?
yeah, Airbnb.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
It was a 6,000 square foot house. There was 11 of us.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap.
No.
Right on the beach. So
That's-
not happy,
No.
but we had a great time out there.
Excellent. Well, it's good to see you. What do you think Luna's been up to in the last 6 weeks or so?
Well, there's a lot of fishy stuff happening in this town.
Sure is.
So what I've been doing is, here, let me see how long I can do this for. For 8 minutes a day, I'm invisible, and I'll just follow people and be sneaky and just see kind of what's happening behind the scenes.
Okay. All right. You kind of coming up with your own racket. Maybe some things that you could learn that you could sell to. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but yeah. Let's see what.
No, I just, a lot of funky stuff happening. So, I'm going to follow these people. And when they go into their house, I'll be invisible and just look through the windows and do crazy shit.
All right. Do you think you've? Who do you think that maybe you've spied on? Anybody of interest?
Like people associated with the cult and maybe like some type of like mayor or sergeant.
Okay.
Just,
Here's one for you. There's the Marsh District is it's kind of it's definitely the hood. There's it's run down. It's the poorer section of town. People tend to disregard it. And it looks as though the waste walkers and the rat catchers have kind of abandoned this section of town. And over the course of, we're in the winter in Lankhmar, and you're looking at like temperatures in the high 40s, low 50s, a lot of rain. There's been a lot of sewage backups in the district. Things that are just kind of just been left. And you learn that there's a person who's kind of in charge of all that, and his name is Jegard Stanton. Got a picture of him for you. Let's see here. He has an office not far from the Silver Smerduke, which is Duke or Lord Denal's house, which is kind of like down in that area. He's got like a kind of like a constabulary office. He's in charge of the sanitation, that sort of thing in that section of town, making sure that the guilds are taken care of and that kind of thing. And things are kind of gone by the wayside. It really doesn't seem too concerned with it. He's still collecting all his payments and all that stuff. So you don't quite get to the bottom of exactly what's going on with him, but something fishy's up with him.
I'll follow him. I'll follow him, and then try and break into his place.
Okay.
And he's not there.
Okay. And you do, and you can rifle through all his papers and stuff like that. You don't really come up with anything, but you definitely know that he's up to something.
Well, I'll follow him for a few days.
Okay. And you don't find out anything specific. And he's a busy guy. He also responsible for all the. He was at the Temple of Arth when there was the book was stolen from the library. He was the guy in charge of that. He's like a high-ranking sergeant in the City Watch.
Mm. Well, so if I don't get anything on him, I'll follow suspicious characters that he talks to.
Okay. You find that it's a lot of the members of the guilds. Specifically the Thieves Guild. So how exactly you want to push that?
I want to find out how to apply to be in the Thieves Guild.
Oh, you can't. It's just the Thieves Guild and the Sorcerers Guild are the most misogynistic organizations in the city. They specifically don't accept women.
Oh, wow.
And it plays a major role in the first meeting of the two main characters in the Lankhmar stories.
Okay.
So, and it also plays a major role in a lot of the other characters. A lot of like famous female rogues and stuff like that are always contrary to the Rogues Guild. They're always contrary to the Sorcerers Guild.
Mm. Well,
so all your fishing around.
Yeah.
One day you stop in to the Last Chance just to check in with Asami and Arthur, perhaps, to see if any jobs from Lord Denal have come up or anything like that. And you were followed by two men who walk in behind you, let it be known that you were followed by them, and then they leave. So you don't know if it's got something to do with you're fishing around with Jegard Stanton and the guilds or something else. You know that to use sorcery in the city of Lankhmar and not be a actual sorcerer is it's a crime in the eyes of the guild, and the guilds have all the power.
okay.
So it might be something like that. You're also, you're not sure if it's exactly even you that they were following in, but it just seems suspicious.
Well, I'd like to take them down like an alley. Turn the corner.
You're
Cast.
gonna follow them back out.
Well, I want.
This
they're
is like
following me.
this is like the middle of the daytime.
That's fine. I'm gonna go down some like alley, turn the corner, cast invisibility, and then I'm gonna follow them.
Okay. And they stay on Carter Street. And they stay on Carter Street all the way down to the Keyhole. The Keyhole is remember Jan Pickett, the guy who hired you guys to recover the key from Iron Tusk. They stop in there. And then you see they come out and they go down Cash Street, and you see Jan Pickett comes out, and your spell's about ready to give off because this Carter Street's quite a long street. So you can renew your spell and follow him, or okay,
I'll cast it again.
okay. So you get a good look at the little guy now. He seemed, other than the black eye before and the fact that he was like a little shaken up for the robbery, he seemed pretty hale and hearty. He's an older gentleman. It's hard to determine with the gnomes exactly how old he is, but you could probably guess that he's been around a while. He looks. It's been probably about a month since you first laid eyes on him, and you've probably only seen him a couple other times since, mostly passing by his store and stuff like that. He's aged. He looks now like his eyes are all like sunk back in his head. He looks like he's lost some weight. You notice that when he locks his door, his hand has a quiver to it. He puts on his little, he's got like a little peak cap, almost like a little newsboy kind of cap. And he puts up the collar of his cloak, and he starts heading up Carter Street towards the Last Chance.
So the guys that were following me, I think, are associated with him, or
Yeah.
they just went in his place?
They went into his shop, stayed there for about a minute or two, and then he came out with them. And they left down Cash Street towards the river, and a lot of people down Cash Street now. So, like the Mingles shop was on Cash Street, Janar's stuff's on Cash Street. But then Jan Pickett starts making his way up Carter Street, presumably towards Last Chance. Who are you going to stay with? The little gnome or the two roguey guys?
I'm going to stay with the roguey guys.
Okay. Okay, the roguey guys, they get down Cash Street and they stop in at a tavern right here.
Okay.
Can you see that on the map?
Yeah.
Yeah, they stop in there and they shake off their cloaks and they pull up a chair alongside of a couple other people at the bar. Looks like it's midday. There's about 30 people in here. Looks like a group that they're fairly well known to. They pull up and blah 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 blah, and one of the two guys pulls out a gold rope and buys around for everybody in his little circle.
Okay. So I'll go outside, become visible,
Oh, okay.
And then I walk in, and I look at the two guys. Hey, buddies, how you been? Let me buy you a drink.
Oh, lovely. You are the mysterious Luna. How are you? You're looking lovely today. The other day
Yeah.
you looked a little out of sorts.
Okay, fair enough.
Just come on over. Have a drink, love. Actually,
So-
let me buy you a drink. I owe you this.
Why do you owe me this?
Jan's had us following you.
I know that.
Oh, you do? Well, eventually you're going to catch on.
Don't
He's-
tell me why.
He won't tell us. He's a good old bird. He's a pretty high-ranking member, so we don't ask too many questions. When the old man wants stuff done, you do it. You don't give him no lip. Jen Pickett, I don't know if you know or not, but he's not man to be fucked with.
How much is he paying you?
He give us 5 gold rilks for the whole deal. It's a tidy sum.
I don't see how much money I have. Oh, shit. He just wants you to follow me?
He just wanted to find out where we could find you. I must say, hats off. We didn't see you. Didn't see you follow us down here. It probably was a little brazen of us to tip our hand, but he more wanted to talk to the lass in the last chance. What's her name? Asami, something like that. He wanted to talk to her.
Let's go hang out with them now.
Yeah.
So I want to take these guys to the party.
What's that?
I want to take them to wherever the party hangs out.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you want us to come with you
Yeah?
if you want, if you insist. I'll not make a scene here, but we just settled in. Our job is done. You probably won't see us around too much, love, unless you want to, of course.
Are you in the Thieves Guild?
Well, you know for a fact that they are. They've got the silver hilted dagger that shows them as being in your research. The guild has like junior members and apprentices. These guys would be like probably journeyman rogues of the second circle to have these silver hilted Thieves Guild daggers. Generally, they're the people who do all the work for the guild. They're not quite masters where they divvy out the work to other people. These are the working thieves. These are basically the lower rung maid guys. If you're looking at mafia.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll leave and go tell the party about these clowns and what they're doing and who hired them.
Okay. So when you get to Last Chance, you find that Asami and Arthur are in a room on the 3rd floor, and it's a room that's been set up by Fatty McComb because Asami, when the two men followed Luna in, and then Luna left after them, you held your ground. You kept playing. You didn't know if it was like some kind of private business, but you'd seen those two guys before. Some kind of private business of Luna's or something like that. But
We all know Luna can handle herself.
Exactly.
When she can't, she becomes giant Luna, and all's great.
And about 15 minutes past that, you see Jan Pickett, small, probably about 3.5 foot tall owner of the Keyhole, the guy who contracted you to find the key. He comes in, and before you really even get over your initial blush of, oh, I wasn't expecting him to come in, Fatty McComb is all over him. Fatty's like, Mr. Pickett, what a lovely day it is to see you. We haven't seen you in so long. Come on up, my friend. And he hustles him right off to the side, and Jen kind of looks over at you and gives you a nod and says, oh, hello, Mr. McComb. Mr. McComb, it's so good to see you as well. And Fatty is going out of his way in a way that you haven't seen in a long time to be gracious to this man. And Arthur, this is the other person of influence, Mr. Pickett. You haven't seen this from Fatty yet. You haven't seen this. He's cordial to everybody. He tries to remember everybody's name, but he's tripping over himself to make way for this man. And he goes on and this and that, and is asking questions and making sure that he's taken care of, and he's got a plate of eels for him. He says, looks like you've lost some weight. You're not feeling well, Mr. Pickett. We've got Wan Fow's famous eels for you. I know how you love them. Wan Fow. Plate of eels for Mr. Pickett. And drinking, I assume business is good, Mr. Pickett. Yes. And oh yes, quite good, Mr. McComb. Yes, indeed. This city's always busy. You know how it is. And then they go back and forth, and finally he says, "Really, I've come here to talk to that young lady that works for you, and perhaps that young man over there." And he points to Arthur. If you could see to it to spare them for a couple of minutes, I would be ever so grateful, Mr. McComb. And perhaps Aevus comes in for a bit of lunch. Maybe Zed and Bakai come by to maybe collect a minor payment that's owed from a shift that they did last week.
Private performances aren't cheap.
Well, no, of course they're not. Of course they are not. Yeah, so he doesn't ask to like specifically see you in private or anything like that. But Fatty says, make sure that that Mr. Pickett's taken care of upstairs. The third floor is not in use today. We'll get everything all set up for you, Mr. Pickett. Yes, indeed, we will. And so they clear out basically a little area upstairs and set up like a little private room for you guys. And anybody who wants to be there can file in. Luna eventually gets there, and she gets there just as probably Asami and Arthur are maybe going upstairs. I don't know if Zed, Bakai, or Aevus would be there. I would, if you want to be, absolutely.
Sure.
It depends on how far into my tenancy I am.
You're probably about a month in.
Yeah. If this is where they are, then I would, yeah.
Yeah, you could probably use a break. You probably every once in a while come down here and maybe take a break and have a drink. And I don't know if you're a gambler, but this is where a lot of the gambling goes. They have a really good cook. He's from a land probably not far from where you're from. It's called Avon Marense, and it's the cook is, let's see, I'll show you a picture of Wan Fow. Without the picture, he's a small, bald Asian man.
With the picture, he's a blonde Viking.
He is, yes. Just save me from digging around here. Let's see here. Images. I'll just use the search tool. There we go. There's our old friend Wenfow, the cook at Last Chance. So Fatty says, well, I'll leave you to it. Mr. Pickett, it was an extreme pleasure to see you again, my friend. And don't be such a stranger. And he claps the little fellow on the back and then kind of gives you the leave of the room. And Pickett hangs up his cloak and his hat. And he... And anybody else is everybody going to be in the room, or is it somebody not going to be there?
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay. Luna?
Yeah. I got my eye on this dude.
Okay. Do you maybe go take anybody aside while this is being set up and say, hey? Or do you just kind of keeping it under your vest right now?
Well... So, what's the name of the guy that tried to have me followed?
Jan Pickett.
Pickett, and he's here.
He's here, and he's the guy who hired you to recover the key.
So is he standing, sitting? What's he doing?
Yeah, he's pulling up a chair, and he's got his plate of veal and a mug of beer. He looks.
Okay.
He doesn't look like he's angry with anybody or accusatory or anything like that. He's kind of.
I'll go up to him.
Okay.
Oh, good to see you again. Kind of pat him on the back and lean in and go. And I'll use some curse word. Why the blank are you having me followed?
Well, and I must apologize to that. You're not easy people to find. It was as much my fault as it was anybody's. When I asked you to help me, I was out of sorts a bit. Shouldn't
Tell
have.
the whole group. Tell the whole group, not just me.
Well, yeah, I when you didn't come by with news about that you couldn't find the key, I didn't know where to find you, so I had to use my contacts with the guild. Of course, you know that I'm a fairly high-ranking member of the Thieves Guild. It's common knowledge on the street. The keyhole is we do all guild work. I've been there for 70-odd years. It's all guild all the time. But you remember, I did ask you not to involve the guild with the matter of the missing key. I did. What I don't need to know this or not, and you don't have to tell me. We know that Iron Tusk doesn't have the key. Did you kill him? Because he turned into a dead end. When you didn't come around, I had my people search him out to try to search you out, and he'd been dead for about a week. Found him in the river. I don't know if it has anything to do with what we have to do with one another. So I'm just assuming that the key is gone. Am I correct in assuming that you are unable to find the key?
You would be correct, Mr. Pickett. And to answer your question, no, we were not involved in his death. We were actually unaware of this.
You didn't seem the sorts. I know talent when I see it. I did think that you'd be able to recover the key, but it's a needle in a haystack. It's something like that going missing in a city like this. It's to be expected, but the key has consequences for me. Consequences that I didn't foresee. I should probably tell you the story. If you sit down and take a meal with me and listen to the ramblings of an old man, with your word that you'll keep it to yourself, because I don't. The guildsmen have found you, and they're good. It's good of them to do work for me like this. I want to make sure that they didn't frighten you or anything like that. But they have their ways. But I did want to talk to you. I can't really have anywhere else to go. Everybody's connected with the guild that I know, and I don't want to run afoul of the Sorcerers Guild either. So, kind of at my wit's end. And now that you look at him, he looks diminished. He and you can kind of see the remnants of scratches on his throat, like a clawed hand had maybe raked his throat, like maybe a lady's nails or something like that had grabbed him by the throat. And they're healed up. It's just like scabs now. It's like, but you can clearly see the 4 different lines on the one way and the where the thumb would have dug in on the other side. And now that he's got his his cloak and his hat off and stuff like that.
Is he magical in addition to everything else it does?
What's that?
Is the key magical? I ask him.
Well, yes, of course. It's quite a bit magical. Could open up any lock.
Yeah, I know you told us that, but that could just be a regular key that's special, but not magic.
No. That's this. If you'll allow me my story.
Okay.
When I was a guildsman, probably not much older than those 2 young men that followed you here today. I was on the rise. I had the whole world at my feet. I made a venture. I learned about. Yeah, it looks like it's well on its way to healing. I don't know how much of the history of the guild, even the guild remembers. One guild master turns into the next, and things are forgotten. And this isn't a city of history. This is a city of very much of the now. But this story takes place probably about 75 years ago. It's a young Jan Pickett who's come upon quite a bit of money doing my work. I've always been very good with mechanical things, that sort of thing. The inner workings of small objects always kind of open themselves up to me. It's when you're good at something like that, you can sell your talents, and I did, and I rose in the ranks of the guild, and I learned a few things. That the guild at the time was at war with another rival, a rival who had joined forces, so to speak. The skills of a rogue and the wizardry of the Sorcerers Guild, and they sought to overthrow both those guilds. They made the base, as luck would have it, below the city, but specifically in an area just below my shop, which is why I purchased my shop in its location. Now, the wrath of the head of the Thieves Guild is something to be feared, but the wrath of the head of the Sorcerers Guild is something quite different indeed. And this underground complex that the leader of this group, his name was Jazadrun, the leader of this group and his upstarts, had constructed for themselves beneath the city, was fantastic, but it was not impervious to the sorceries of the Sorcerers Guild. And they fought a war beneath the city. Sorcerers Guild, the Thieves Guild, and Jazadrun and all his men and women and children, I'm afraid. And no one emerged from there except for the Guildmaster of the Sorcerers Guild. And the entrance was in the front room of my shop, as luck would have it. Well, so the master of the Sorcerers Guild sealed that door with the key, and there was no opening it except for that key. And when I bought the shop, he gave me the key to hold. Now he's long since dead, but on his passing, I used the key to go and see what I couldn't get, enrich myself, and I encountered things down there that still haunt me to this day. And then he kind of he reaches up to his throat, and he says, "So I was quite shocked the other, well, probably a few weeks back. I woke up with a skeletal hand around my throat, and the door to Jazadrun open. Had not been opened in 70 years. And I'm unable to lock it again. And there's things beyond there that want out. And I can't make them stop the scratching. I've sealed it up as best I could with wood and furniture, and so I don't think they'll be able to open the door at any point, but the scratching, the constant scratches, it's pushing me to madness. I haven't slept. I was hoping I could impose upon you two.
Suspicion that a sense motive is warranted here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a trap. I tell him, oh, okay, but I get to be a full-fledged member of the Thieves Guild.
Well, it doesn't work like that, love. This is I can't go to the guild with this.
Why not?
I wasn't to have opened the door, and I did.
Oh, well, you gotta know somebody and have contacts.
I do. I've quite a bit. I've thought about selling the shop and catching a ship out of town. Maybe Rusp this time of year. It's cold, but we start over. The reach of the guild is I'm not so much worried about the Thieves Guild. They don't understand. A man has his greeds. I'm worried about the Sorcerers Guild.
Okay. Well, get me in the Sorcerer's Guild, and then I'll help you out.
I don't think I'll be able to do that. So, well, if you change your mind, you can come by my shop. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be there for. You know my secret. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave 10 gold pieces here, or 10 gold rooks here, to thank you for at least trying to get the key, and for your troubles. You can divide it up as you see fit. I think I've got, at best, 2 weeks in the city. Who knows? Maybe once the place is quiet, if you want to go look in. But it's this is cursed. That's it's a cursed place. It was sealed up for a reason.
I'm just trying to. Yeah, it's been a while since we played. We have the key, right?
Yeah.
Out of character, yes, we have the key, but we are planning on keeping it because
Yeah, in a year.
in a year we'll be able to use it.
Yeah.
Who's
Oh, it's not
specifically-
usable for a year.
who
Yeah.
Specifically has it, do you call?
What's that?
Somewhat.
Yeah, who does specifically have the key?
Yeah, which player specifically is holding on to it? I don't recall who.
I'll look in the party sheet, see if I can't find out.
Yeah, I was looking at the party sheet, and
I'll tell this sad sack. It's okay, buddy. You can stay in my room tonight.
Well, that would look suspicious then, wouldn't
are you picking him up?
it? Where is your room? I've he says, I've got
There it is. Arthur has it.
I've got
I have the key. Okay.
I've got funds enough to. I just want the scratching to stop so I can go back to my work.
So even if we can't use the key for a year, right?
For a full year.
Well, you know that it's not magical now, and it's probably going to take a while for its magic to recharge.
Yeah, it'll take a year for the magic recharge.
Is there
Alright.
interest in investigating this door? Maybe there's another means of sealing it besides the.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely interested, but Avis is definitely interested, but she's not sure how to broach it with the party because.
Hey, let's offer it up. You know, what if we research it? We may not have access to the key, but we can certainly, we're intrepid adventurers. We can certainly look into this.
That's what I was hoping.
Sir, I know you don't know me, but I have a safe place you can stay.
It's not that. It's I can well afford another place, and it just looks odd if an old.
Scratching follow you.
It looks odd if an old man all of a sudden starts acting differently when he's acted the same way for the last 50 years.
Some would say that an epiphany occurred, and thusly the behavior changes.
Like I said, I've got several more weeks before I'll have to take my leave, I think.
Shall we accompany you to the location so that we can investigate, or
Sure.
maybe we can offer knowledgeable assistance on aiding this, even though the key may not work,
Provide us the map.
since we don't have it. Yeah.
Actually, I do have a map. Yeah, come to my shop. Okay. Do you guys want the 10 gold rooks that he's offered?
Oh yeah, scoop that up.
Okay. All
Right.
Why
What
would we say
single
no?
rooks? Sleight of hand.
All right.
I need rent money.
So it's getting near nightfallish. Probably about an hour or so away from nightfallish. Zed, sometimes Rackernash meets you here before you guys go do your thing. I don't know if tonight would have been a night that you would have been going for that or not. If so, he'd probably be meeting you fairly shortly around here.
Leave a message that the search is off tonight. I'll
Okay. All right. So down Carter Street, past the neighborhood where Popoff's house was, past the begging bowl, to the keyhole. I'll give you a description of it. A small turret dominates the facade of this 2-story black stone building. Iron bars are embedded in thick window frames. Beyond the turret's ground floor windows, you see a lovely display of locks from large to small, simple to complex. To the left of the turret, above a heavy oak door, swings a simple sign that reads the keyhole. And this is what the keyhole looks like as far as a map goes. This is the main floor of the keyhole. Are you guys able to see that? I don't think I have any walls.
I can see
up.
this.
Okay.
Yes.
So right on the map, right here, you can see that under the stairs, it's like a stone wall. But now that you go in and you pick, it's like, come on in, come on, everyone in. I'm gonna put up my clothes shingle for the night. So he says, he takes off his cloak and hat and says, "Can I get you anything warm to drink? A bit of brandy or something to stave off the chill? Anyone?"
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah. He's got a nice little entryway. He's got like a warm fireplace, and the storefront, all the locks and stuff are on the walls and stuff like that. So underneath he's got a bottle of brandy, and he sets out a few glasses and starts pouring them up. He says, "Feel free to hang up your cloaks or anything like that. Just beyond the curtain here," and he opens up the curtain, and then you can see what was a tidy, neat chamber, almost like a living room kind of deal. It's kind of chaos. It looks like the chamber of maybe like a depressed person or something like this. There's unwashed dishes, and the furniture is kind of skewed. The couch that used to be against the wall is now propped up against the stone wall beneath the stairs, and you can see that the leg, there's a bit of wood nailed down around each foot to kind of lock it in place. And he's definitely got this kind of like barricaded off. And when you get in there and you can kind of hear a little bit, you kind of assess the situation a little bit. You can kind of hear like a scratching at the walls. And he says, "That's the door to Jazzadroon. Open. After all these years, I don't know what's caused it to come unlocked. After I locked it up with the key the last time, it stayed locked. And that was 70 years ago. It's just on its own, just kind of opened. Whatever magic was holding it closed just kind of dissipated. And if you piece it together, roughly around the time that you took down the cult, roughly about the time that you found the key."
Yeah, we're not going to piece it together. We'll move on.
He says, I have to, I don't think anything else can get out of there. What come out the first time I've got over here. So he goes over to his little workbench area, and he's got like a metal strong box. And he says, gather around, have a look at this. And he's got like a little ball peen hammer that he uses for his work. And he says, be careful. I'm going to be swinging this hammer in a minute. And he opens the box, and you see a skeletal hand with the pinky finger, the ring finger, the FU finger are all there, but the pointer finger is missing, and the thumb is present. So it's got everything. It's intact except for one finger, and it's the left hand, and he just starts smashing it, and it starts to move as soon as he opens the box. It kind of flashes. It's almost like an insect, kind of feeling around the side of the little box he's got, and he just starts smashing it. And finally, he breaks it to bits, and it stops. And he says,
While he's smashing it, can I detect magic it?
"Sure." You got. Do you have knowledge or arcana?
No.
Okay.
So
Religion.
I was wanting to do the same, but I wasn't wanting to reveal we were casters in front of him. So is there a way to
I
do it
don't know
subtly?
that. But divine caster, me.
Yeah. Aevus's magic works maybe in a little different way. Like, she maybe makes a prayer to her goddess. Luna's definitely, she's peering into the magical spectrum for sure. He seems, at the moment, he seems locked in on smashing this hand. So he might not have...
Try to do it as subtly as possible.
Yeah, he can definitely hear what you're doing and stuff like that, but he probably doesn't... He's not locked in on you guys specifically. Yeah. You're like... as soon as you get it, the sensation that you get is akin to nausea. It's an overwhelming feeling of necromancy, and it's powerful. It's powerful to the point of being not quite as powerful as the Book of Eibon, but perhaps as evil. And you're almost sickened by it. And he says, broken to bits, it stops. And I close the lid, and it reforms on its own, and I can't make it stop. And there's more behind that door. And he closes the box, closes the metal box. He says it takes a while. Sometimes overnight, sometimes an hour. It wants the key. I think that's the finger. I could just throw this in the river and hope it doesn't come back. I could burn it in a fire. I've tried that, but it still reforms. I've used my etching acids on it. Eats through it, but it doesn't stop it from... It can't hurt me.
Get a cleric.
Taking it, yeah. Have you not sought the divine?
I don't quite go in for all that. But if you think you can do something about it.
You said it came through the door.
Well, the door was open and it was at my throat while I was having a nap on the couch.
I want to go through the door.
Once I open that door, it's opened.
You said it's already opened.
It is, but it's got it barricaded off. It's a bit of a thing to unnail all these boards I've got in place and move the furnishings and such.
We'll do it for you.
I don't mind doing it, but once I'm doing it, I want to seal it back up again. I wouldn't
We'll
want to.
seal it back, assuming we don't die.
Would you be willing to go down there? He says,
Yes.
I need to go down there.
I've got something that might help you. He says, wait here. Don't fuss around with too much. Feel free to open the box, and I trust you that you can handle whatever. You know, if you want to watch it before me, you can. I've watched it a few times. It's so slow, so it's almost hard to tell. And then next thing you know, it's back together again. Whatever you want to do, and you can distinctly hear on the other side of the wall. It sounds like there's several things scratching at the door to get out. But he says, "I'll be down in a minute. Got something from my little foray down into it. My little."
Would you object if we took that hand with us when we went?
Well, I'd want to know that it wasn't going to get let loose. If you want to
I
go,
intend to let it loose,
wow!
but I figure it should go back to the body it belongs to.
Well, if you could find it, yeah. It was if you should just hang for a minute here, and I'll show you what I've got. Might either set you off or send you screaming into the night. I don't know if it's something that you're interested or not. So he comes back down, and he's got a scroll case, and he opens it up, and he's got like a sheet of leather that's worn around the edges. It's probably about 18 inches by a foot. And on the leather, he's got carved in a map. And the leather's old. Like it's extremely soft and supple still, but it's an old leather. And he's got like this here. He says, when I first went down these stairs here, right there, and you come to a room. I'm not really sure what sort of cult this was. I did my research as best I could without being found out by the Thieves Guild or the Sorcerers Guild. But apparently, some sorts of I don't know exactly what it was. But we go down that room. There's a bunch of masks on the wall, and each one of these doors, it's not like your regular door. It's like almost like a gear of sorts. So you have to. It's kind of like a training ground for rogues and wizards. It was way back when. And down this hallway here, I've got a talent for just kind of maybe finding the way. And I found my way down into this chamber here almost before anybody even knew that these doors were open. And up on the wall was this. Well, I copied it, and as I was setting to bust through some of these doors to see what I could find, I was set upon by something. So dark, shadow-like. I barely escaped with my life, and I ran back up the stairs and closed the door and sealed it with the key. And rolled this map up and tried not to think about it too much. But there's a lot of death down there. And perhaps some powerful magic too. If that's what the sorcerer was worried about, the Sorcerer's Guild. And he's got the map. On the backside of the map, it's got the letters Jazadrune spelled out in a bunch of different runes. He says each door seems to have one of these runes on it. And I didn't really get much of an investigation, but I think each one was trapped.
Is there a way of recognizing the language that the runes are using?
Yeah, actually, Zed might actually. Do you have extra language spaces that Zed didn't really put anything into? So I think this might somehow be related to your meeting with Bakai.
Right now I have Common, Elven, Sylvan, although I guess Elven and Sylvan are redundant.
Yeah.
So I can just replace one of those.
Yeah, there's a language that some of the races who dwell beneath Lankhmar, it's just called Undercity. And you recognize the runes as that of... so when you go down and maybe down to a fighting pit or something like that beneath the city, you maybe have to speak in this tongue.
All right. So I think it says... What?
Yeah, it says Jazadrune.
Jazadrune.
It's the tongue of the... wow. There's a whole city beneath our feet. I don't know if you know this or not. Beneath the sewers, Lankhmar's been here for a long, long, long time, and probably will be here for a long time still. There's been many things built over many things, and things live down there. Some more friendly than others. I'm not sure this complex. I think it's pretty old, and I think Jazadrune probably stumbled upon it and gathered his people down there, and was probably set to make a play for power in the city, and well, he met his fate. As the guilds always get their piece. But like I said, it's a lot to expect from a young lot such as yourselves. You're just getting started. You seem like nice people.
I'm sure. Ward us appropriately.
Oh yes, of course. Of course. I was thinking the same amount for that I offered for finding the key. 200 gold rolls.
Depends on how hairy the situation gets down there.
Perhaps we'll see. As far as access, I'd like to keep it as quiet as possible.
Agreed.
Maybe sometime during the night, I go down. We'll sort of figure something out with the door, so we can seal it, but open it quickly if you need me.
secret knot.
Secret knot works. Maybe I'll fashion up some sort of hinge or a clasp or something like that to allow me to get in there a little faster than prying up boards on the floor and moving the sofa. Why don't you give me a couple days?
Okay.
That gives us time to prepare.
All right then. Well, I'm glad I sought you out. I felt uneasy about it. You know, you were good enough to offer to help the first time. Really had no real reason to other than coin, but and you've done your best. I know you've done your best. I should have told you all this from the start instead of keeping it all under my hat, and then maybe that would have helped you along the way. Wherever the key is now, I don't know. Surely it's probably gone. Maybe across the sea or something like that. But I'm pretty sure the lock on the door was tied to the key, which is probably why it's come open now. But I feel better. Might be able to get to sleep tonight.
Would you object if I performed a ritual at the door to hopefully ease your rest for a few hours?
Oh, you are. I'm not familiar with your faith. You, although I don't get up on the street of the gods too much. I've. What is the name of?
I follow Yita.
Yita. Well, I've not heard that one before. That's a new one. If you think it will help, I'm out of solutions.
It may give you the ability to have some rest.
Well, I'm in your hands.
They'll take the box and put it by the boarded up door and consecrate.
Okay. All right. Like the actual consecrate spell?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's heavy duty. Let's see here. What does consecrate do? I think it's
Give him some peace for a little while at least.
I think it's like a long casting time and stuff like that too, isn't it? Let's see here.
No, one standard action.
Look at that.
Lasts 2 hours per level, so it's gonna be here a while.
It'll be 8 hours.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
a vial
give
of
him 8
holy
hours
water and 25 gold pieces worth of silver dust. So that's 25 silver smarducks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that. Just he needs some rest.
Okay, let's see. Blesses nearest positive energy. Every undead creature entering a consecrated area suffers a minor disruption. They cannot be... Okay. So, doing this in that area causes the scratching to stop on the other side of the door. And...
Problem solved. Where's our experience?
The box is still like a box full of
Bones, but it'll slow it down a little bit.
yeah, exactly. Or you can do other stuff with it if you want.
I mean, I could probably cure wounds it to obliteration, but I feel like I'm gonna need that hand later.
Maybe, or it might just reform.
Yeah. She wants to put the hand back with the body that it goes with.
Okay.
That's her ultimate goal for trying to keep the hand in one piece, but she's hopeful that the consecrate will give him at least 8 hours of rest.
Okay.
Quiet from the scratching.
All right. yeah, so yeah, you definitely it goes quiet, and Chan's like, my goodness, you're a miracle worker. That is remarkable. And he saw that you had to like spread silver around and stuff like
Coins,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so he says, well, I don't know how often, how many nights I can afford for you to do this over and over and over again, but that looks like that cost a bit of money. So I'll he reimburses you.
Okay.
And he says, yeah,
If he's gonna pay for it, I can do it every night he wants me to.
yeah, like he says, it's he only makes like so much a day, so he could probably only do that for a couple months. But that's 25 silver smearducks a night for a couple months. 25 times 60.
I mean, if it lets him sleep.
Yeah, that's in the neighborhood of
How much is a
1,500.
good night's sleep worth to you?
Yeah, 25 silver smearducks for tonight. Perfect. Yeah, he's more than happy to reimburse you for that, and says, "Well, yes, 2 nights hence."
Yes, and if you need me to cast it again tomorrow,
I think just getting one good night's sleep will set me back on the path, and just knowing that perhaps there's a solution to this. Well, I think that calls for a drink. So he busts out the thing of brandy and pours out for everybody. And he says to new friends, cheers. You've got my thanks. And
Have you been past the door and explored what's beyond?
I have, yes, some 70 years ago. I might not look that old, but I've had my 100th birthday just last year.
What preparations would you recommend?
Well, let's see here. I'll give you the tour. I did manage to make my way down into the first room, down the stairs. There's I think you have to tread lightly on the stairs. If you go down all willy nilly, the last set of stairs that leads into the room with the masks will turn into a slide, and you'll slide down into the room. So you be careful.
What do you mean? Careful on the stairs.
Well, there's
She just kind of looks at her very awkward shaped feet. And looks...
there's a button on the left hand side of the wall, the landing way, that will keep that set of stairs in place. When you get down into the room with the masks, it's unsettling. It's almost like children giggling. The sounds of like a forest. The sounds of birds and I haven't really heard this too much in my day living in the city and all, but I imagine it's much like the sounds of wind through the leaves in a tree, the giggling of children, the soft sound of running water. Couldn't make heads or tails for the masks. They're all fastened to the wall. I tried to pry a couple off, and I couldn't do it without making a hell of a racket. So, and there was two of those gear doors. The couple. They're definitely trapped. Some manner of sorcery on those doors. But also there's a mechanical aspect to it that if I was more inclined to have gone down, I probably could have sorted out making a key for it. I don't know by memory. I'm able to do it now. But anyway, there's an opening. The passageway continued down straight from the stairs, and come upon more of those gear doors, a long hallway of it, and it was a dead end. And as I made my way down towards the dead end, I noticed that the wall wasn't actually a wall. It was just kind of like a vision of a wall, and I was able to walk right through it. And then through that wall, I entered a door, or I entered a room with 2 more gear doors, and then on the wall opposite the false wall that I could walk through was an image, which I was able to copy this. And as I was doing that, one of the gear doors opened, and I'm not sure what it was, to be honest with you. I still have bad dreams about it. Drained my strength. It almost felt like I was running in sand, and it was almost like a nightmare. You know, when you're in a dream and you can't seem to get away from whatever it is that's chasing you. That's physically how I felt. It wasn't in a dream. And I did manage to make it up the stairs and close the door. But whatever it was had some sort of frightening power. And basically, it's been sealed up since then. I haven't really... I know better than to go back down there. That was for certain. And whatever it was couldn't seem to pass by the locked door or the key, or it would have followed me up right away. Kind of afraid that once it got unlocked and I woke up with this bugger around my neck, I thought, there's nothing stopping it from following up, but I don't think it did. I don't know how long the door was open for while I was asleep. The front door of the shop wasn't disturbed. It didn't look like the curtains were pushed aside or anything like that. I don't think anything escaped into the city. At least I hope not. Wouldn't want to live with that.
I'm sure if something like this did escape into the city, somebody would know.
I'm sure, yes. It probably would have caused quite a bit of mayhem. Well, if there's nothing else that I could help you with, I would love to get a good night's sleep.
That's good. I think we should prepare and come back at the appointed time and get started.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll say after closing on the we're coming up in the weekend, so say the 24th. It's the night of the 21st right now. Say the Monday night, or actually, how about the Sunday night?
Probably better.
All right, then. Sometime after the sun goes down, give us a knock on the front door, and I'll come let you in. What's that, love?
Would you object if I came by to check on it in the morning?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. The business will be open. You just walk right in off the street. I usually open when the sun comes up.
So what time is it right now? Sorry.
It's probably just getting at a little past nightfall right now. Maybe 7 o'clock at night.
I'm trying to think of, because it'll be good for 8 hours, so the shop won't be open by then.
Yeah, he'll be fine to get to sleep. He seals the bat. He locks the strong box back up with the hand in it. If you want to have a look in it before he does that, that's fine.
Yeah, she'll
Yeah.
look at the broken pieces.
Okay, so when he opens it back up, the wrist is sealed back up with the a couple of the bones on the top of the hand, and there's still like a bunch of pieces, but it looks like they've maybe moved a little bit.
When you
they're kind of
smashed it before, did you ever put pieces in separate boxes?
no.
Nods.
It's not a bad idea, but yeah.
What about filling it with sand? Making there to be no space available for the pieces to move.
Well, I guess that's why I've hired you. Have
I don't know if that would actually work. Just throwing it out
all
there.
right, so I'll tomorrow. The shop's closed, so I'll maybe get some sand. Might try the other boxes thing too. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm not so worried about this thing so much.
Is well
just-
contained within the box.
Yeah, you can't hurt me anymore. Just give me a bit of a fright. It's what's beyond the door that frightens me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that scratching that I'm worried about, not this so much.
Oh, let's go get him.
Ah, it's a spirit. Oh, it's good. I've been talking. I don't even know your names. Luna, I know from the report from my man in Asami. But I don't know if I've heard your name, love. And he looks at Aevus, or even Bakai.
Avis even peak.
Oh yeah, you did say that earlier, didn't you?
You're nuts.
Or maybe you said it to the other.
I said it to the other guy.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yes. All right. Well. If you need anything, I do have some resources available. I'm not the wealthiest man in town, but so quite a few young fellas looking to do old Jan Pickett a favor. So,
I might have a question for you at another time after I come check on it in the morning.
absolutely. Well, you have my thanks, but the prospect of a night's sleep is absolutely unresistible at this moment. It's been quite a few days. So we will see you on the evening of the 23rd, and like I say, feel free to stop in on in between if you have anything that you need. And if not, I will see you on the evening. I will see you on Sunday night.
Awesome.
How many squirrels would we have to kill to level up?
Probably quite a few. Speaking of which, though, it's probably not that late. You still might be able to catch up with Rakarnash.
He's helping track the vampire in our spare time. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
All right, so out onto Carter Street, and Jan Pickett locks the door behind you after giving you a friendly wave through the glass, and he pulls down his blind. So the brisk night, it's a bit of rain. It's been raining in Lankhmar for the better part of a week now. It's probably high 40s. It's uncomfortable. It's you probably have about another month of this weather before things turn, and you have the first signs of spring. But hasn't been any snow. It's just that uncomfortable cold rain. And you're out on Carter Street. Where do you wish to go? Or do you wish to talk about something? Or Luna's got some information. Zed's got some information. Asami's come to the end of her mystery with Arthur. You guys figured out why you were being followed.
Rakenash may have some information.
He might. He is probably down on the waterfront right now.
And it's what time of night?
It's just after 7.
Oh. Yeah. We'll share with the group that, I've been trying to find, forget the lady's name.
Maria.
But it appears he's active in the area of the church that we liberated.
No, the opposite of town.
Oh, the opposite. I thought that layout looked like the church. Did they just build them like all the same?
Yeah, it's the end of the street, but the other end of the street. The street where...
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the Temple of Arth or the Church of Tsathoggua?
The one that you just tossed up for Aevus.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the Temple of Tsathoggua, and that is on the street.
Yeah, it was the same floor plan. That's where the activity is occurring, right? Is near that temple?
No.
Oh, guess I misunderstood.
That's okay. Probably not that clear. Somewhere in this area here, at the end of the Street of the Gods.
Yeah, and I thought you had put her temple right there.
No, I put it down by the marsh gate. You can see that I drew an arrow.
I must not have had my map out enough. All right. Okay. Well, I'll share that I think we're zeroing in on Maria. Thought I'd do my nightly check-in with Rakenash to see what information he might have gotten us.
Is this something we should accompany you with, or you should handle on your own?
Yeah, more than welcome. I mean, it's 7 o'clock. I need to walk off the sherry or whatever it was he was giving us.
Yeah. Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, which way are you going to go? Are you going to go north first or west first?
Go west.
Okay, so west, probably down Cash Street. As far as there's also Aevus, you see the office where your landlord holds a little. He's right across the street from the keyhole. And then there's, there's a rather raucous tavern called the Silver Eel down Dim Lane, which is right across from the keyhole as well. Carter Street joins to Cash Street, which leads all the way over to the river. But going past there, you go past Lord Denal's house, and you go past the Lord Denal's store. It's just closing up. It's called the Silver Smearduke. You go past his supper club called the Gallery, and you come out of Cash Street where the grain silos dominate. And then there's the southern part of the piers where the barge end was, where you tracked down Iron Tusk initially, and all the rafts of the river folk kind of gathered at the edge of the wall, the river Halal. You can smell the salt air from the outer sea, and where the river and the outer sea meet is not far from here. All the way up the waterfront, along Nunn Street, various shops and homes, and then the further you get north, you get to some kind of religious adjacent things. So you're kind of near the temple district, but you're not. These aren't actually temples. You see a lot of stores catering to religious iconography, stuff like that, and there's also a bunch of shops and not so many craftsmen, but maybe some sages, that kind of stuff. And you get all the way up to the section of city where you think that Maria might be active. And the first thing that you see is the squat black temple of the gods of Lankhmar. Now, if you remember back the night of your meeting, the night of fear, the night that the gods of Lankhmar were said to walk the city, just laying eyes on that building, it's kind of feels auspicious. Kind of gives you maybe a little chill, almost like the gods of Lankhmar are watching. It's just a feeling. Doesn't really have any, but you look at each other and everybody has that feeling. So there's something to it, but what that something is, it's not really tangible. You cut through a little alleyway, past a couple of large homes. You remember, Zed, you remember Rakarnash telling you about the home of Hisvid, the wealthiest grain merchant in Lankhmar. And
Quite a mousy guy.
a little bit, yeah. Not well liked, but kind of feared at the same time for his economic power. He kind of has a strange relationship with the city. The city kind of owes him a debt, but kind of begrudgingly as well. The Hester is the rival grain merchant that is one of the wealthiest, and he's more well liked. The once you get into the area where the Waterman's Hostel is, you probably think to check there first.
Okay.
So let's see here. I have a map for you. And I'll put everybody on the map. So this is like let's see here on the map, the Lankhmar map. It is this area here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Little square over top of this square. That square, it just kind of denotes like a little neighborhood. So in and amongst these little homes and neighborhoods and stuff like that, there's a large central building. And the large central building on the first floor is a bunch of, it's almost like a plaza. Storefronts all the way around. There's probably about a dozen of them all together, all facing outward. And then the second floor of this building, where these stairs lead up to, is quite clearly a tavern that goes over top of all of the small shops down below, and then the third floor, which the stairs continue up to, is like a hotel or a hostel for visiting sailors or anybody in particular. Nobody in particular, but it's used mostly for the sailors. It's the tavern itself is called the Waterman's Berth, Berth, and no, actually, the upstairs is called the Waterman's Berth. This is called the Waterman's Hotel.
Oh, let's look for Raknash.
Okay, so you go inside, and let's see here. Where's Raknash? Raknash. Where is he here? Find his character sheet. There he is. All right. He set his faction to not hostile and changed his name from Ruffian with Blades to Raknash the Slayer. So Raknash has got himself a seat up at the bar. Feel free to enter the tavern. Oh, let me unlock you. Token lock. I don't think I have any walls on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no line of sight or anything like that.
Go up, give him a fist bump, do that manly right shoulder hug, order whatever he's drinking, set it up for the crew.
All right, yeah. He's just sipping an ale. He likes to keep his wits about him. He says, "Oh, the gang's all here, right?"
Yeah, we're looking for the news.
Yeah, it's
Closing in our prey.
I think so. This might be the night.
Tonight.
Yes, there's been see those blokes over there, and then he points over to the fireplace and the
Red chairs.
yeah, the red chairs. Let's see, where was it? We put them on the map. So it's about 8 o'clock at night by the time you guys get there, and he says, "Oh, the gang's all here," and this that, and he says, "I think this might be the night." And you look over, and Maria, seated with, looks like 5 rough and tumble sailors.
I see you're preparing.
The sailors are they're armed men. They are they've got cutlasses and they're wearing armor. It looks like they've Rakonesh says Islot's been here last few nights, and yeah, I think they've made a friend. I don't think I
too would like some mage armor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just about to looking for my character sheet to do some mage armor.
Yeah, he says, I don't know if they know what they're in for.
So just thinking out loud, not out loud, but thinking, sorry. If we just attacked, how much trouble could we theoretically get into?
Well, we don't come around here too much. I mean, I've been around a bit. People maybe know who I am, but I'm a professional.
I mean, if we,
I don't.
I'm just
It'll be.
Rakenesh knows about her history, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. He
by
know
now.
he's here.
I mean-
He's here to kill her.
Okay.
He's here with you guys to kill her. He knows that she's a threat to his immediate employer, the guy who puts the majority of the bread on his table. He doesn't hire out to him exclusively, but Lord Denal keeps Rakenesh on retainer to handle things like this. Not like this, but I mean this is an exception. But say somebody owes Lord Denal a lot of money, Rakenesh will retrieve it. That kind of thing. That's the stuff he does for him. And he knows that on the night that you met him, he was doing things involved with this, because remember, he was at the cart that Maria was presumably in with the extortionist when that went south. He was surveying that scene with his men when you guys kind of butted heads. So he's here. He's been hunting her for the better part of a month with Zed and Bakai. And tonight might be the night.
Okay, we want to take her out, everybody?
Yeah.
As far as the town guard and stuff like that, he says I wouldn't worry about that too much. Nobody really knows who you are, and I'm a professional.
Okay, gentlemen. Gentlemen.
And us.
Huddle up.
Yeah.
Like say, you guys all get ready. I'm going to buff up.
Yeah.
Invisible. And then smack her in the face. And then you guys jump in on it.
Can vampires see invisible?
I have no idea.
Are we taking a moment to do prep spells?
Yeah, why don't we, because we're at 10:56 right now, why don't we just put a pin in it right now, and I'll give you 2 weeks to anticipate
Yeah.
The smackdown.
the smackdown, and we'll pick it up at this point in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exposition tonight and a lot of, but yeah, we'll jump right into the action next week.
I see all the spells going off.
Nothing to see here. We're good.
Yeah.
Well, body shift has no. It's not a spell. It just happens.
So
Body shift.
you'll know that she notices you.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
So she's probably gearing up her men too. So
It's going to be a standoff.
she's got from don't forget that Lord Denal did a lot of research on vampires, suspecting that she might have been one, and those are the books that he had to return to the Great Library. So
Oh shit!
silver
I
weapons.
missed my. I did a bad.
What's that?
You'll have to put fervor back on. I was trying to edit something.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, don't worry about
It
that.
disappeared on me.
Oh, okay. We'll fix that up over the couple weeks. Silver. I think I think Luna has a silver dagger. Holy water. Religious icons. Aevus might have some sort of tool at her disposal that you guys didn't have in the first battle when cleaned her clock, basically. This time she's got 5, looks like rough and tumble sailors who look like they know their way around their weapons. They've got cutlasses, little axes that they use to cut ropes free on ships. They're in the studded leather. They look like they're probably from the same ship, but probably all of the same kind of rank. Maybe like veteran, veteran Buccaneer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, they look like they've seen some action. If anybody has like a knowledge local and they beat the knowledge local DC, I'll maybe give you some tidbits about veteran Buccaneers.
Do we roll that now or next week?
You can roll it now. It'll give you something to plan with. Luna's got a 19. Okay. Sami's got a 28. Okay, so you've seen guys like this before. You're probably looking at third, fourth level, maybe warriors. Probably not as trained as like an adventuring fighter, but no slouches nonetheless.
Their swords are still pointy, right?
Their swords are still pointy, and they look like they're good at using them. And they look like they're fairly nimble. They could probably move around the deck of a ship pretty ably. This isn't the deck of a ship, though.
No.
All right.
Cool. They will be anticipating their deaths over the next 2 weeks.
Yes, they will. And
This place will be their graves.
I wanted to mention too that next week or in 2 weeks we're good to go, but on the 28th I'm going to see the Pixies in Buffalo.
Nice.
In Lewiston, which is Buffalo adjacent. So we'll be missing that night, but we'll get the whole Maria business hopefully wrapped up. There's more to it than this, so we'll see how it goes.
I mean, of course, she still has her sanctuary. Gotta find if a killer.
Precisely. Which, let me leave you with this: Rackernash has not been able to find, and he's scoured this area specifically. He says that there's a basement down below that he's searched thoroughly in this, specifically this little plaza building that you're in. Thinking it might be somewhere around here, but he was unable to find it.
Not only that, but you'd have to be foolish to assume she doesn't have additional minions there to protect her.
Exactly. He did say that there's an entrance to the sewer down there, though. So we'll let everything play out. This is. I don't know if Aevus was informed. This is a vampire, so she's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Burn it. Holy water. Got it.
But as dangerous as she is,
water.
these guys took her out at first level. So
With the silver dagger.
yeah,
She was also barely trying. Now she might be.
she was probably a little underpowered then too. She was
She was a little debuffed.
She was kind of hoping to feed on a couple of you and then go through a ritual that would have
Now
buffed her
she
up.
might. Yeah, now she might be actually trying.
Yeah,
So you didn't stake her in the heart the first time, and now she's pissed.
didn't have the chance. She missed
We
it and got
couldn't.
away. Yes.
He ate Taco Bell and became gaseous.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun over the next bunch of months. But like I say, the next session we're good for, but after that, I'm gonna miss one because of the Pixies. I can't let the Pixies come through town without me seeing them.
Right. Think happy thoughts.
And then after that, we should be good to go for the foreseeable future.
Great.
All right. Well, good talking to you guys again, and I'm glad everyone kind of hung in. And we'll be seeing you in a couple weeks. And feel free to plan and talk and stuff like that. I'll do my best not to influence anything. But if you need advice from Rackernash, because he does have some vampire info, then feel free. He will impart.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have some trouble because we don't have a lot of magic weapons.
I don't think we
But that means
have any.
DR. Yeah, that means we have to get through DR, right?
Yeah, it's silver or good.
You're a good
Foolish,
sport.
foolish
Oh.
weapon users.
Rakernash has a silver dagger.
I mean, I have a sacred weapon technically.
You
I
do?
don't know if that'll work for you.
Well,
Does it do good damage?
It does good damage then for sure. I think I'm technically, yeah, I would say yes. This game, I don't really do rules as written kind of thing. I kind of do it more on a feel. I like to have everything kind of the magic system be a little more mysterious than the actual Pathfinder rules. So things every once in a while might work out to be a little bit different than how it would in a standard Pathfinder game.
Yeah, I can enhance it as a swift action to be a +1.
Yeah, and because it's a sacred weapon, yeah, I would probably allow that to go through damage resistance.
But those
Assuming I
pirates
can
don't
stab
have
her.
DR,
No, those pirates don't have DR.
so I'm gonna
No,
work
they're
on the
just people.
pirates. Yeah.
All right.
They know fear. I'm certain.
Oh yeah, they do.
If,
But
if
they
not,
might.
they will shortly.
What's the hit dice limit on yours? Is it 4
If
or
I want to
6?
use, if I want to use scare, it's 6.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's 5 or lower.
Okay. Yeah, and same with if Luna wants to do sleep. They're probably you could probably only get one at a time.
Sleep has been played out.
Sleep has been played out, has it? All right.
Yeah, we're never
So Arthur could finally use his spears.
By the way, feel free to set your spells. Do you want me to give you like an overnight rest and you can reset your spells?
I mean, I'm down a second level because of the concentrate.
Yeah. Okay, well that's still in play because you just cast that today. We can.
I just cast the spells that we're going to start with. So
Okay.
I'm a sorcerer. I don't need to prepare.
Alrighty.
I just have them.
You're good with your standard selection there, Luna? Because we've used up a couple invisibilities today.
Oh, it's the same day?
It's the same day, yeah.
All right, in the ass on that one. Okay.
But
There
like
goes all your
if
second
you want to
level slot.
set like any other spells to something else,
Yeah. Let me
I can do is I can set an overnight rest and you can retick off like consecrate and the 2 invisibilities.
let me mark my casts because I just dragged the ability, so I need to mark them as cast.
And also, what I wanted to mention too is in the party sheet, we got Veltargo's prayer book, and you've had a month to look those spells over too. There's spells that you could learn and scribe into your book, into your repertoire, for all of you guys. Arthur's
all of us.
Arthur's limited,
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a sorcerer.
but the keep in mind that Veltargo's prayer book is a tome of foul magic, and casting the spells that you've learned from there probably have consequences that will build up quicker than normally from a pure source, like through your goddess or something that you've learned on your own, Luna, something like that.
So, a wizard can cast these spells?
Yes, sir. And a cleric or a priest can cast wizard spells. But like I say, I'm keeping track of how much magic you use and how you use it. And at higher levels, there's interesting consequences.
Lucky me.
Do you remember when you first found Popoff downstairs at Danal's house and he was all drained? The drain part was from the vampire, but you remember how his fingers were all gnarled, and that was from the magic. In fact, he was digging into foul sorceries. He had the the Book of Ibon on a pillar in his house, and he was working on casting spells from that. But that, like, this is using like foul sorceries over an extended period of time, tends to have an effect, almost like a radiation. But we'll leave you with that. Veltargo's prayer book, if you want me to print it out in Discord, I can do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah, just leave the server up for a little. I'll get it all.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely will. I'm going
I'll
to,
poke you.
I'm going to shoot off. And it was good seeing you guys again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Night.
Looking,
Nice to see you all again.
looking forward to next game.
Yep.
Indeed.
All right, cool. Night, everybody.
Good.